This is KGW News at noon.
We start this afternoon with an update on a shooting that happened in Boring this morning that forced neighbors in that area to shelter in place. Thanks for joining us here at noon. I'm Drew Carney. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is investigating the shooting. So far, we know it happened at a home on Cottrell Road. That's southeast of Gresham. Devin Haskins has been covering this story for us since early this morning. So Devin, we know where it is. What else can you tell us?
Yeah, Multnomah County Sheriff's Office being very quiet about this shooting. But right now, if we zoom in behind me, you can see just beyond that road closure is technically Multnomah County. So it's right here on the Multnomah County, Clackamas County line. And you see those investigator vehicles in the middle of the road. They're investigating a shooting at a home nearby. So here's what we know. Very little information. But again, what Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is currently telling us, that this shooting call came in just before 4 o'clock this morning. And it came in as a disturbance with a weapon. We later learned that they are investigating a shooting. We don't know if anyone was injured or killed. Multnomah County Sheriff's Office has yet to tell us that. We only know that the Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting. They did say that no deputies fired their weapons. We saw Gresham Police here as well early this morning to assist by flying their drones above the area. We don't know who they were looking for, if they ever actually found anyone connected to this scene. There was a shelter-in-place order for a couple of hours, but that was lifted just after 6 o'clock this morning. Now, almost 4 hours after the initial call came in, we thought we were getting our first update about what happened here from the Sheriff's Office. Instead, they just told us that they were investigating a shooting, and then they walked away from our cameras saying they had nothing more to add and wouldn't take any questions. Now, while we were here at the Multnomah County scene, we were talking with someone that said that they knew the person that was related to that home here in Boring and pointed us to another crime scene, this one though in Clackamas County. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office only confirming that they were investigating a death in the area of 131st Drive and 132nd Avenue in Clackamas. They wouldn't give any more information beyond that, other than that the call came in just before 8 o'clock this morning. Now, we asked Clackamas County Sheriff's Office if these two scenes, the one here in Boring and the one in Clackamas County, were related. They wouldn't confirm that, only saying that more information about their situation would come later in the afternoon in a couple of hours, which is the same thing we heard here in Multnomah County about this location. Yeah, Drew, a lot of questions to be asked, very few answers being given. Back to you.
Yeah, Devin Haskins covering a lot for us here this afternoon in both Multnomah and Clackamas counties. Thank you, Devin, for that update. We do have some other local headlines that we want to get to this afternoon as well. And we start in Tigard, where police are looking for information to help them solve the case of a deadly shooting. This one happened near the Washington Square Mall on Monday night. That's when officers say they found a man who was shot in a car. Investigators believe that he was targeted, but they haven't released any other details about the man or potential suspects. Back to Multnomah County, where the Sheriff's Office is also looking for this woman who they say escaped custody by climbing through a ceiling. Her name is Sabrina Cox. Deputies say Cox climbed into the ceiling of a bathroom at OHSU while she was supposed to be getting checked out by doctors. They say she crawled through the ceiling to another room, dropped down, and walked out of the hospital. Cox is suspected of aggravated identity theft. If you know where she is, you're asked to call 911. And in Oregon City, police say they arrested a man this week for stealing a piece of expensive construction equipment and then trying to sell it. The catch here is, this is the second time since June that Oregon City police say they caught this guy, 41-year-old Jeremy Sells, for the same crime. After the first time they arrested him for trying to sell a stolen piece of equipment, they eventually let him go. Now, they've arrested him again, and he's being held in the Clackamas County Jail. The state of Oregon is suing a local towing company for predatory practices, and now that same company is accused of doing the same thing again. A group of people involved in a secret Santa Christmas gift delivery at a low-income housing complex in Happy Valley say that Retriever Towing targeted their car last week as they were delivering gifts to a family in need. They say a tow truck driver who was already there gave them the okay to park and carry out their surprise, but before they were done with the gift delivery, that tow truck started to lift their car and take it away. They wound up paying $250 to get the car off the lift. And some of the people who live at that apartment complex say this type of thing happens to them all the time.
Not just the car I have now, but the car I had before. Between the two, it's been towed 19 times.
You've been towed 19 times?
19. It's thousands of dollars, like, it's ridiculous. This is like a Section 42 apartment building. Like, you can only make so much to live here. If that's not predatory, I don't know what is.
Oregon's Attorney General says since 2018, retriever towing has failed to get a signed approval from the property owners of that complex for each car that it's towed. All right, Rob, we're going to take a break from our headlines this afternoon and check in with you in the Weather Center. What do you have there?
Let me start with an apology. I apologize to those of you that live north of the Columbia River.
Because?
Because most of you are still cloudy and in some cases foggy and very chilly. Yet right now, I've chosen to focus on the sunshine. Here we go. Cannon Beach Live. Gorgeous weather. 52 degrees right now. You run down into Lincoln County. Here's the inn at Otter Crest. This is a live camera they have looking up to the north. Beautifully sunny there. You come inland to Yamhill County. There's Stoller Family Vineyards Estate in Dayton. Beautifully sunny. And in fact, downtown Portland the same. Beautifully sunny. There's a Tilcomb crossing from the Portland Spirit Landing. Gorgeous. Here are the other temperatures. 50 in Tigard with sun, 50 in Sherwood with sun. Vancouver, Pearson Airfield, right along the Columbia River, no sun, and only 42 degrees. So definitely the sun makes a huge difference. Salem has sun, 49, Sheridan and Dallas, 50 degrees. I have to assume, at least in Clark County, the city of Vancouver, at any moment now, you're going to see that low cloud deck pop and get out. There is an east wind out along Troutdale where it's sunny on the east side. So areas with sun will get up to about 54 degrees. That's the PDX temperature where it's still cloudy outside or mostly cloudy. And we'll be dry in 46 at 8 o'clock this evening. Now, I will focus on our front coming in Friday. It still looks like it will bring Cascade snow. That's coming up in my complete forecast.
A top Hamas leader is in Egypt today for mediated talks about a ceasefire with Israel and a coinciding exchange of prisoners. Meanwhile, a leader within the Palestinian Islamic Jihad group, a separate militant group who also took prisoners during that October 7th attack of Israel, said they would also be in Egypt to take part in today's mediated talks. Israel's president said yesterday that his country would be open to another humanitarian pause, but Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu still says Israel will continue its operations in Gaza until, quote, Hamas is eliminated. The United Nations Security Council is meeting today to draw up a third ceasefire resolution after the U.S. vetoed the first two. Back here locally now, neighbors are speaking out about a homeless center that sits along the Willamette River on the outer edge of northwest Portland. It's the River District Navigation Center at the west end of the Broadway Bridge. It opened up 4 years ago, and people living nearby say that their neighborhood has suffered ever since.
People in our neighborhood, including my husband, have been assaulted personally with a person with a knife right next to Harbor of Hope. And you want to talk about cause and effect? Please, do not insult us further. This is unacceptable.
Harbor of Hope is the nonprofit that leases the space for that shelter, and it says they agree with the neighbors about the problems. The organization also recently announced it will no longer manage the shelter when the current lease expires on January 1st. So the city is set to take ownership on the first of the year in an effort to keep the 90 people inside sheltered. The city of Portland says it plans to draft a new good neighbor agreement and improve communication with people who live in that area.